Welcome to the Between the Pages podcast. Today we're going to be talking about helping kids handle hard themes in stories. Our stories or others.
Yeah, Sarah, that's something to think about, right? I guess from when you're sitting there and there are countless phobias.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I mean, there's height, there's water, there's insects, there's all types of things. And so you never really know
what's gonna upset someone.
Yeah, upset a child. So that's why we attempt to, okay, in one book we have a spider web, but we don't have spiders. We have different insects, but they're butterflies and bees and things of that nature.
Oh, yeah, and kids go through phases, because like Eleanor never used to care, and then all of a sudden, oh, there's a stink bug. Oh, there's a ladybug.
In Maryland, we have these things called stink bugs.
And she thinks it's going to sting her. I guess because she got stung by that bee. And now she's like, oh, the stink bug's going to sting me.
Yeah, but, she got stung by a bee, and 5 minutes later, she's like, let's go play.
She was totally fine, yeah.
So it's not that it
kids
was all
come
that.
and go with their old phobias.
There's something else going on.
Yeah.
Other than that. But, yeah, and so the thing is we're writing these stories, and we're working to make sure we don't do anything that, but as a parent, you know, what subjects and what matter your kid, your child probably isn't interested in.
Yeah.
And so the thing is as a parent, you're supposed to be looking at the books, and I'm not working to put the burden off on parents alone, but at the same time, it could be something that you just, last week they were fine, and this week something's happened, and now they're not okay with that anymore,
Yeah.
and so
some of the tools for that too, other than just, okay, fine, we're not going to read this book because we don't want to upset the child, you can also, just skip to softer scenes and talk through it, reassure the stability, the safety of it, it's just a book. Yeah. But also it's a good time to use hard themes, because maybe it's not just, a spider, like the scene in JG where the little girl's crying because they were in a burning building.
Yeah, but she's not crying anymore.
She's not crying anymore.
She doesn't cry.
That.
We fixed it.
But you can use those scenes to talk, bring it back to God, talk about, God's protection and perseverance and everything that it's going to be okay.
Well, and we're using that scene, the Tripp family, to have another book.
Oh, yeah.
Because now they have gratitude. They're grateful for what somebody did to them, and so they now have devotion. Gratitude and devotion are two things that go together, and so there's a spinoff coming from that. And so they're a happy family, and they're grateful to be here and that kind of thing. But everyone has those type things happen in life. Your house catches fire, or a terrible automobile accident or something. Things like this happen.
Yeah.
And so, you want to insulate your children from that, but this is one of the problems I have with television, because, that kind of thing happens on TV all the time.
Yeah.
And, you're not in the room when it happens, and the child's just sitting there seeing an act of violence or injury or suffering or whatever, and you don't know anything about it, and then later on there's issues associated with it, and you can't figure out where it came from.
Yeah.
So kind of thing. So, and even with parental controls, on televisions, it's still, they can navigate that. Sometimes they fail, and something comes through that you don't approve of. So all that happens, and so it's difficult in book world to anticipate, all of the possible phobias, if you will.
Yeah.
But, like in some of the books, we have water. And, somebody who has an aversion to water might not want to look at that page. So, as a parent, if there's a page that is not something that you think your child would be interested in, you can either take the page out, or fold it over so that it's not seen, or just skip over it until they get to a point where that's something that they can handle or see. Um, uh, this is why we use happy colors, and we have happy scenes, and there's not a lot of pain and suffering and that kind of thing going on in the stories. But some books they're deep, and not our stories, but other books go into topics that are, well, I don't know, uncomfortable for me, and so I just don't want to talk about them. I mean, and so the way I look at it is as a child gets older, then they can look at those books and make their own decisions.
Yeah.
So, but as a child, you should work to maintain your child, maintain their innocence as long as possible, because once childhood's over, it's over. There's no going back, and there's sometimes I wish I could go back and be a kid again, but nope, can't do that. And gotta be an adult, gotta do adult things. Yeah, all of that. So,
which is nice too, because you get to go do things, but also.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. So
running around and playing is way more fun.
Yeah, and exactly, playing. No job, no responsibilities, no taxes. That kind of thing. You just kind of just living, and time is just wonderful. It's a commodity that just never seems to, it never seems to run out.
Yeah.
And as a child, I can remember. Then we had to start going to school. That was like, whoa, what's this? And so then you just leave. You just live.
All downhill after that.
Well, you're living basically for summer break. Because and man, you'd start out in June. Usually we got out in May, and you start out in June, and man, you got it's wonderful whole month, and the next thing you know, June is over. Wow.
Yeah, and then you're back in school.
And then then July, and then August, you gotta get ready to go back to school. What happened? Yeah, how did this happen? And so, and it goes faster and faster. Like this year, I mean, it just seems like
it just went.
Yeah, of course, it just
I'm
went.
over here we were just in December last year.
Yeah. We were just starting this channel last year.
Yeah, it's it's over.
Remember that? We posted our first video in January 2025. We had 10 followers or something like that. Those were people we knew. Yeah. And so it was it was our warm market. That was all we had, and so now it's we got all these subscribers all over. And,
I feel like this past year was almost one of the quickest. It just went.
Well, I mean,
and I know some of that's because it's going through activities and stuff, but phew.
Well, there must be something good about some of this, because we're not just we're in different countries now. We're in Australia and Thailand and Europe and
all kinds of places.
Africa and Mexico and different countries.
It's a good thing that YouTube does translate, because sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, well,
I have no idea what people are saying.
Some of our stuff doesn't translate well, but in general, the message, the Bible does translate well, and the scriptures translate well, and the meaning behind what we're working to communicate translates well. So,
oh yeah.
I mean, I guess the thing is it's been a quick year. It's been a lot of activity, a lot of work, a lot of things have been going on. And, as a child, well, you want your children, you want it to last. There's plenty of time for them to grow up later.
Yeah.
So if there's something about the book that's not comfortable to you, then,
just choose something else. There's other
choose
books.
a different book or skip over that page. We do the best we can to avoid these different phobias. Fear of heights and water and just all kinds of different.
Yeah, we're not trying to make scary books.
There's things out there that people are apprehensive about that I didn't even know existed.
Oh yeah.
I've never encountered anyone who had that phobia, or I didn't even know that there was such a thing. And so yeah. I know that there's some people who have a fear of work.
Yeah.
They like to avoid work at all costs or whatever. So no, I'm just joking. I mean, I don't know. Maybe that is a phobia, but yeah. So.
Yeah. So. Yeah, that's all. My reminder for today, the challenge for this week, is to you can always remember. You can always just change and adjust what you read. You basically already said that. So
Yeah, just
that
read
was
something
my
different.
big pow for the
Yeah,
day.
well, I mean, and that's the thing. Sometimes,
Books are usually better than screen time, but there's still things inside books that are like, I mean, even I read books, because we get a lot of books from the thrift store and different places, and I do the best I can in my little quick flip through, like, okay, this is worth 75 cents, this is worth 25 cents.
Right.
And then you get home and you're reading it, and I'm like, we'll be halfway through the book, and I'm like, I don't know about this one. We're just gonna skip this book.
Yeah.
We don't need to finish this.
Well, a lot of times if it's on the bargain shelf, that's that's probably why it's there. Someone else already screened it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, this is no fun.
Not always.
Not always.
So
No.
I found that Harvard collection at the thrift store.
Yeah.
And that was a good one. That was the original one before they came, because it had less books.
Yeah.
It was the OG.
Well, it was a different approach. The 5 foot Harvard thing, 5 foot of knowledge, was more like a college course.
Yeah.
This was more like a literary course, famous literature and stuff. And it's like a lot of people aren't into literary type reading anymore. But that Harvard classic thing that you found is.
So sometimes getting books at the thrift store is where it's at.
I don't think the people who had it knew what they had.
Oh, I'm sure they didn't. I didn't even think the thrift store knew what they had.
I don't think they knew what they had their hands on.
Yeah, because even when I was like, oh, what if I wanted to buy all of them, they gave me even a half off deal. They just wanted to get rid of it.
Yeah, it's been there a while.
Yeah. And I was like, if I had bought this on the internet, it would be like $1,000.
Yeah, you got a heck of a deal.
Yeah.
So, but
I'm a good thrifter.
That's true. And so every now and then you'll come across, bargains like that, but you have to know what you're looking for.
Oh, yeah. Other times stuff's there because it's like, shouldn't.
But in this particular case, like I said, we're just trying to deal with if there's something about the book that you're uncomfortable with or your child's uncomfortable with, and, Fig and Zig is about as much fun as it can get.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just a day in the life of these kids.
That's why I'm like, I'm excited for Fig and Zig.
Well, but other books are a little more complicated.
that one's pretty complicated.
Fig and Zig.
Yeah. It's got some moments.
Well, but only if you're trying to teach physics.
Yeah.
So
if you're just reading the book, it's fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
Just fun. That's why I say all the books have layers. There's you can read it at 1-year-old, you can read it at 5-year-old, and 8-year-old, and 12-year-old, and 20-year-old, and it has a different meaning for everybody.
Yeah.
Because it has the different sections for the age groups.
Yeah, they're like the laws of aerodynamics. They don't really change.
Oh, yeah.
Book will be good for decades. Years, centuries. It'll be a good
family
book.
Heirlooms.
Yeah, buy a hard copy. It'll last longer.
It'll last
But
longer.
paperbacks, kids, they go through those. They wear them out.
Really?
But and that's the whole thing. So,
it's always so neat to see it in real.
Well, I haven't, other than a few instances, but in general, response has been favorable across the board to all the stories and all the books.
Yeah. I haven't heard anyone. The only thing was, it wasn't even negative. It was just someone was like, these books have a lot in them.
Well, and that's the other thing, obviously that they have an appeal about them because they're in all countries now.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, that the thing is most people hardly ever, if ever, break out of their local
own country, yeah.
Their local area. The book is, great classic recipes of Virginia or something.
And everybody in the town buys one.
Yeah, everybody buys one.
That's
the end of that. They hardly ever get beyond that. So
yeah, we've shipped out to. I was like, man, we should get a map and highlight. I see people do that all the time.
Yeah.
They highlight where they've sent orders out to. Because I'm like, we've sent orders out to, I think really it's like almost the bottom part of the West, and then different parts in the South, and then it like hops up into the New England people.
Yeah, Michigan and
But
stuff.
we need to get you guys over in like Wyoming and Montana and South. You guys need to start watching the podcasts.
Well, I mean, we're
buying the books.
We are. I mean,
We'll send you everybody over in the what are they called? The Midwest.
Yeah, but the population density there is not as great. As those
anybody that makes an order for the Midwest area,
when I was stationed at Hill,
we'll add an extra surprise in your package.
I was stationed at Hill. The entire population of the state of Wyoming was 170,000.
That's
the whole state.
The whole state.
I mean, that was in the 70s and stuff, and so it's not much. Not much. Not by much. It's probably 500,000 in the whole state.
Yeah.
And so there's cities in here that over 1 million.
Oh yeah.
I mean,
and it's got
just
less
in a city.
Yeah.
So in the whole state, and so the population density is different, and so you're not going to have as many subscribers or followers or whatnot. But yeah, we're writing books related. We got Blue, which is going to be set in Kansas. So that's a Midwest state, and then we got the one Tents. We're thinking Oklahoma, might wind up being Missouri or something. But yeah, so there's those states.
Yeah, we're gonna get one book in each state eventually.
Yeah. We came close with Butterfly, because Hawkeye, it's an Iowa thing, but he's a Buckeye. He's from Ohio, so Ohio's kind of a Midwest.
Well, where does it switch over in the Midwest?
Iowa? Well, I crossed to Mississippi.
Okay, that makes sense.
You cross out of the eastern side of the Mississippi.
I've crossed over the Mississippi.
Yeah.
I've driven over there.
Yeah, into Davenport, into Iowa. And so Wisconsin and all that.
Well, no, even the girls, when we went on our trip.
Yeah, to Missouri.
We drove over.
Yeah.
Fancy stuff.
Yeah. Well,
they're getting out there in the world.
That's what I'm saying. Blue, I think we'll put that in Missouri,
Got
so or somewhere like that. So
That's
or
a
Kansas. But yeah, and so the thing is I don't know how we got off on that. We're supposed to be talking about phobias, and so the thing.
No, how to help kids handle hard times in stories.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, usually hard times in stories are associated with...
You're supposed to pray to God and ask Him to get rid of your phobia, because it's not real.
In general, hard times are usually associated with some type of phobia.
Yeah.
And so, but it could be that it's just, it's something else, but in general, that's usually what it is.
So, that's all the time we got for you this time. Join us next time on the Between the Pages podcast. Like, subscribe, and follow, share, and follow.
Thank you very much.